Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I wanted to sit down and share some updates on how things are going with taking Lexapro for me. I'm now at the 6-month mark, or slightly over, I think closer to 7, maybe even 8 months. But I wanted to share some updates. I've previously done videos when I was at the 1 month and also 3-month mark. So this is my 3rd video in this Lexapro Diaries series, and I've got a few things to share. I guess I briefly just mentioned I have done previous videos. I'll make sure I link them up and down below if you want to check them out. I think that will make this video make a lot more sense, although I do hope if you're watching this now you have already seen them. I guess I really just have a few updates to share on side effects, as well as addressing some questions from my previous 2 videos, and then I'll also really quickly share my story on how my therapist disappeared on me, and I briefly mentioned that in my last video. But now I guess I'm just going to get started. I have some notes in front of me here and I'll be reading through to prompt myself and get on with the video. So I guess I've got a little list here of these side effects that I am having currently. I know I've mentioned a few different ones through this time, from 1 month to 3 months to now, and I feel like things have changed a fair bit then. I guess anything, if I've forgotten to mention, is the same unless I talk about it now. So I guess the first side effect I'm noticing is a bit of a weird one, but I've heard some people experience this, and sometimes in different ways. Some people have things like cold flashes, but for me I've been having night sweats. And it's funny because it's actually in winter, but that's something I've never experienced before, and it's taken me a while to actually start having this. It's not every night, it's just some nights, but that's something that's been happening lately that I don't think I mentioned in my previous update. Now, one thing I did mention last time, and I wanted to confirm this time around, is the fact that I'm pretty sure I am having weird dreams caused by Lexapro. I guess it's something that some people speak about and notice. I think last update I said I wasn't sure if it was directly from the Lexapro or not, but I'm pretty sure now that I've been on it for 6 months, I think it's the cause. Lucky for me, they're not nightmares or anything, just weird dreams or different to what I'm used to. They seem a little bit more realistic and they're just really strange. Hard to explain if I'm not going into detail here, but they're just weird. But it's not every night again. Kind of like the night sweats, it's just something that I'm noticing every now and then. An update from last time that I also briefly mentioned is the fact that I do feel pretty tired all the time. I know I might seem a little bit drained in this video, but that's just because I've gotten home from work and I decided to film. But when I'm talking about tired, it's not during the day or anything like that. I think it's more so around bedtime. So before I was on Lexapro, I used to actually deal with a bit of insomnia, and now I kind of have the opposite. I'm falling asleep really early, and I can fall asleep without needing to listen to music or videos for ages. So that's really nice. But the problem is, in the morning, it's quite hard for me to get up. I need to set multiple alarms, and I guess in the past I had to do that a little bit, but I just feel like I'm trying to be woken out of a coma each day. So not so bad for me. I think it's a little annoying for Brendan because he doesn't like hearing my alarm go off. In truth, that's probably the worst side effect that I'm experiencing at the moment. And apart from that one, I guess another update, I have also forgotten another pill at some point between the last update and now, and again I felt sick that day. Still a little bit unsure if it was early like discontinuation, or again if I just thought it would happen and maybe my brain fulfilled that expectation, I guess. But that's something I noticed. I haven't forgotten any others, so it's just 2 pills since starting, and I think I said I had planned to always keep one on me in my wallet. I just used it and then obviously forgot to replenish last time, so since then I've always made sure to have it on me. I don't keep them all on me at all times, just because I take them in the morning before I leave the house, but on days where I will rush out the door or forget, in case it happens, in future I do always have 1 spare pill tucked away on me. Now onto some upsides. I definitely feel a lot happier, way less stressed, so I think of course the medicine is working. I know I've spoken a lot about side effects and downsides in the past updates, and only briefly mentioned on how well it's working, but it really is. I think it is working very well, so I am continuing to use this at least until the year mark. I guess one strange thing is the fact that when I'm not happy, I kind of don't feel anything. I don't feel sad anymore, or if something really bad happens, then of course I feel sad, but normally things that used to make me feel quite sad or stressed, I just feel numb now. I think I don't feel as emotional, and some people have messaged me about this or commented on videos saying that they feel nothing all the time. I definitely don't feel that. I feel very happy and then just kind of neutral. I don't have these crazy ups and downs like I used to. I definitely used to feel happy before Lexapro, and I still do, but then things would take a turn and I'd feel really stressed or depressed, and I don't have that anymore. There's also another upside, and this is just one less side effect that I used to have, or slightly lessened. Less dry mouth and dry throat feeling. You mightn't be able to tell because I feel like I sound pretty croaky, but that's just because I have a bit of hay fever at the moment and I'm done from talking at work all day. But I'm noticing it a lot less compared to when I first started. My throat always used to be on fire, and now I think it's mainly back to normal, or if it isn't, I've just gotten used to it and it doesn't faze me anymore. And then lastly, in general, I've just got to say I'm doing better in stressful situations. One thing that I was trying to focus on recently was to go out of my comfort zone when it comes to driving, because that's something that really used to stress me out, and I've done pretty well driving strange places, busy places. I've been doing fine with that, and I know previously I wouldn't have really even been able to contemplate it, but that's another upside that I've noticed recently. Not so much just from the Lexapro. I think therapy has helped with that as well, but I guess in general I'm just a lot less stressed and anxious. Now, I also recently obviously traveled to Japan, and I wanted to mention that I was able to go through customs with my Lexapro. I brought my script because I wasn't really sure what to do. I think in the past I've traveled with, the contraceptive pill. I haven't done so recently for quite a while, but nothing happened. I really wasn't sure what to expect, and maybe it's different if you go to different countries, but that was fine, and I thought I'd mention that in case anyone was wondering. Next, I also thought I'd talk about a few questions that I got on my previous videos and address them here. I of course replied to them at the time, but I thought it might be interesting to share some answers here in case anyone has those questions in the future. So a few people were asking about drinking, and there was even one person that flat out said just stop drinking because of the comment I made, or I think I maybe said twice how I thought alcohol was affecting me more since starting Lexapro. And it's really not that much of an issue. I think I definitely noticed it the first time I had alcohol since starting Lexapro, and only a few times since then that I would have one drink or two drinks and feel like I had a lot more, but it's not out of control or, over the top or anything. I think maybe this is also partly because I'm just drinking a lot less in general, so maybe my tolerance isn't as much as it used to be. Who knows? Apart from that, I also got some questions about my sex drive, and honestly nothing has changed in that department for me. I know it's a common thing for a lot of people that it will affect them in some sort of way by, diminishing their sex drive, or things in the bedroom, it can affect things, but nothing like that has happened for me, but I know it's a common one for a lot of people, sadly. Also, this wasn't a question, but I saw a lot of people supporting each other in the comments on my previous videos, and I just thought that was lovely. So of course people were sharing their stories with me and sometimes just sharing their stories with each other. I saw a few people share advice with each other as well, so that was really awesome. It's nice to see some positivity down there in the comments and people just helping each other out. That really made me smile when I saw that a few times. Apart from some of those questions, I also saw a few people share some symptoms that they had that I didn't have or previously mentioned, so I thought I'd talk about that here. Bear in mind, I don't experience these or haven't experienced them. This is just other people's experience, but I thought I'd really quickly share that here in case anyone else is going through it, if you think it's very out there. So some people shared their symptoms like ringing ears and hot flashes, blurred vision and headaches, and I feel really lucky not to have any of those. And I also saw someone asking about generic versions of Lexapro, or I guess any sort of antidepressant or any sort of medication really. I guess for a lot of people there's the brand version and cheaper versions. Depending on which pharmacy you go to, they might have a different kind. I think it's all meant to be the same, but they're just different brands. I really wish I could find this comment to, repeat it exactly. I think I even tried to respond to it, but then I couldn't find it later when I looked for it. But I guess I just wanted to say I've tried a lot of the cheaper versions. I think anytime I go to the chemist and they ask me if I want the cheaper version, I normally say yes, or I think I always say yes, and I go to a lot of different pharmacies to have my script filled over these past few months, and I really personally haven't noticed any difference when I've changed different types. Now, I think that's all of the updates I have to share in regards to the Lexapro, but of course I wanted to talk really quickly about my situation with therapy at the moment as well, because I feel like the antidepressants and therapy go hand in hand. Now I think I'll really quickly get into how my therapist disappeared on me, and of course I mentioned it last video and at the start of this one. She really did, but I guess I'll start at the beginning. So of course at the start of the year I started therapy really quickly after I started my Lexapro experience as well, and I just started with one therapist. She was recommended and also just worked at the same GP clinic where they gave me my script for the Lexapro. I really liked this therapist. I thought she was good from the get-go, so I didn't really want to search around and find anyone else. Things were going really well, and I was seeing her every week or every 2 weeks depending on my schedule, and each week I'd go and we'd work through different issues. And then of course I had the big trip coming up, which I've been vlogging and sharing recently. I spoke a lot about that trip and my nerves around it, and also the plan once I came back to continue with therapy, because she knew I was away for a month and we kind of didn't book in an appointment, but we had a non-official, appointment. I said that I'd book straight as soon as I come back, and she said she'd see me then. When I was away on my trip, things were obviously great. I enjoyed my holiday, but I returned home to regular stresses of everyday life. So naturally I wanted to book in, and I think after a bad day on the first week that I got back, I thought, okay, I'm going to book in something for the weekend. So it was one night, I jumped online to try and book in with my therapist. And normally I would just book online instead of calling, because the clinic I went to had that option. So I jumped online and didn't actually see her name in the list of doctors that I could book in with. So I thought that was strange, and I even had a little look around on the website for the clinic, for the GP clinic where she worked, and saw her name nowhere. So of course I started freaking out, wondering, where is she? How is this happening? Like, she didn't tell me that she'd be going away. I didn't know if something was wrong with her or what had happened. So I'll admit I was very stressed and confused on why this would be happening. It just made no sense to me at all, and I think that night I really stewed over it, wondering what could be wrong and why I couldn't book in with her, why she wasn't there. But obviously I had to wait for the next day when they were open so I could call and clear it all out. And I did call. I think I just led with, is blank doctor or Dr. Blank still working there? And they said no. The receptionist said that no, she's left and she's no longer working. What did they say? She's no longer working in the public sector, which I don't even know what that means. I think I asked, what does that mean? And the lady just said, she's not working with us anymore and you can't even go and see her somewhere else. So yeah, I was a little bit confused. I really don't think that's how seeing a certain therapist should go when things come to an end. I was really shocked, because up until that point I had not expected anything like this, or I thought if, that doctor would move away, she would treat things very carefully and organize kind of a transition to see someone else. Oh, and the receptionist on the phone did mention that they had a new therapist working there, which I thought, okay, that might work out, but she only works Mondays and Tuesdays when I work. So of course that didn't help me personally. I know other people might be able to go. In fact, I still don't really know how other people transitioned who saw my therapist to see new people. Maybe this all, got sorted out when I was away and they started seeing the new therapist or someone else in another area, but it was just very strange. And obviously I was offered to see this new doctor there at the same place, and I couldn't commit to that because I have work. Obviously I do know I was overseas and that can't be helped. Maybe if I was around at the time or saw her the week before she left, she would have said something, but I'm still shocked, or I was very shocked at the time, and I guess maybe upset sounds a little dramatic, but I was. I really don't think that's the ideal way or planned way to end therapy when you're seeing a specific therapist. I think it should probably go another way, but for me, it didn't. If I was another kind of YouTuber, someone who clickbaits, or probably a successful YouTuber, I'd probably be titling this, "My Therapist Ghosted Me." But I didn't, and here we are. Obviously, like I said, I was pretty shocked and a little upset for a while, and I didn't book in with anyone else. I kind of tried looking into it, but just put it a bit on the back burner because I had no clue what to do really. I made all of this progress with someone and then she just disappeared. But plot twist, 2 weeks later, I think, from when I called the practice to try and figure out what was going on, I had a call on one of my days off from an unknown number, and it was this therapist who disappeared. She called and she, I guess, started out by apologizing, saying things fell through the cracks. She did leave. She was working in a different, I guess, field of therapy, and it was something that she was trying to do remotely with people, but I wouldn't be able to because I lived too close to a city or something like that. I don't want to explain too much because I could probably get it wrong, but yes, she wasn't able to see me anymore. She did say that she was able to try and help me find someone new. She definitely recommended the therapist who replaced her, but unfortunately I wouldn't be able to see her since I wasn't free on those days. And she made a few other recommendations for people somewhat in my local area. So obviously that's good. I acknowledge that. It's good all of her notes and everything could be passed on, but still I feel like it's a nerve-wracking thing to open up to another stranger again. So of course I haven't taken any steps. I haven't found someone new or gotten her to pass on those details yet. Still very stressful, I think, just to imagine opening up. Doesn't matter what's written down on paper, to go through those things and open up to someone again is a nerve-wracking thing. And I've done it once this year already, which was a huge thing for me. So to try and find someone new again, I just feel a little bit lost. I think actually saying it out loud now makes me really think I probably should do something about this and try and find someone and get the ball rolling. In any case, I'm still on the Lexapro obviously, and that's going well for me, and I'm glad that it is. Even though one part of this process has fallen by the wayside, I still have scripts for Lexapro to take me up until December, when I guess I'll reassess and see if I still need it or change what I'm doing, and hopefully I'll be back in therapy by that point. I mean, it's a few months away. Let's hope that I can get my life sorted in that regard. But now with that, I think I'll be wrapping it up here. It has also clearly gotten progressively darker and darker as this video's gone by. I don't normally film at this time of day and it's nearly nighttime, so I will be wrapping it up. So now I just wanted to thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this video helpful. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in a comment down below and I'll respond to them as quick as possible. Also, I guess if you don't want your question to be public or your comments or conversation with me, feel free to DM me anytime on Instagram. But now I will be leaving it here, so I just wanted to thank you once again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye!